Hi guys, my name is Prusa and this is the new Prusa i3 Mark II. There's a couple of differences between this one and the older model. So I will show you the differences. First one is print surface. The new print surface is polyether imide, also known as ULTEM. The big difference is that you don't have to put anything on it, at least for PLA, ABS, PET, flex materials. The only thing you need to do is to make it clean. We ship with the printer a few alcohol pads, so you can use those. Let me show you. Just take one out and wipe it clean. It's important between the prints, if you don't touch the bed, you don't have to clean it again. But these pads are good only for one cleaning. Best is to use isopropyl alcohol. You can buy this in electronics shop. However, window cleaners work too. This is some off-brand one. It's really cheap. You can get a paper towel. Do just one spray. Yeah. Let it soak into the paper towel and then wipe the bed with it. You can do this while the bed is hot or cold. So this should work for most of the big objects, but in some occasions, if you have really thin and tall objects with really small contact area with the bed, let me try find one. I found one. This is an object where you have really small contact area with the print surface and it's really tall. So what do you want to do is to turn on brim, and you can actually increase the adhesion with regular glue. What is perfect about the ULTEM is that it's really chemically resistant, so you can put the glue on it and then just wipe it with the window cleaner when you are done using it. And also, if you need to do the same for ABS prints, you still can use ABS juice. Apply it while cold, and when you are done with it, you can wipe it off with acetone. But this is, as I said, just for really tall objects with small surface area. They can get detached from the bed. So that was the print surface, and now we will move to the self-test. We've implemented a self-test, which you can run when you finish building your printer, and it will check few basic things. You can find it under Settings, and self-test. So first thing the printer checks is hot end. It starts to heat up the temperature, and when the temperature raises, it finds out that the hot end is alright. So we can see it's now working. And it's okay. Next, it will check the axis and end stops. And all the axes were alright, because, well, it just slowly goes to the end stops, and if it pushes the right one, it tells you that it's okay. If you misconnect the end stops, it will tell you which ones you switched, and you just reconnect them on the board. The last thing the self-test checks is also the heated bed, where it's the same as with the hot end. It just runs power to it, and if the temperature raises, it considers it okay. If you switch the motors, it can also recognize the misconnection and tells you to fix that. So we are still waiting for the bed. It should be done any moment now. And it's okay, all correct. This one is connected correctly, and when you press the button, you are back in the main menu. So that's the self-test. So now let's move to the auto calibration. There are a few critical steps you need to go through so your auto calibration can work perfectly. So let's go to them. So the first one is calibration probe adjustment. You can find it next to the extruder, and the probe needs to be aligned exactly as on the picture. If you misalign it and the probe, for example, is too high, when you try to home later on, you will see a nozzle slightly crashing into the heated bed. Preheated hot end can damage the ULTEM, so be careful and do these tests while the nozzle is cold. It's no big deal. You just need to loosen the screw and move the probe down a bit. Everything how to do so is written in the manual. The next critical thing is that your Z-axis is aligned. What I mean by that is that X-end motor and X-end idler parts are in the exactly same height. There's a really simple way how to achieve this, and that's if you go to the menu, you manually move the extruder in the middle. You go to the menu, settings, move axis, move Z, and basically you go up, 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 up until the both parts gently hit the Z-axis top part, which means that it will align the axis. The motors are by no way strong enough to damage anything, so you don't have to be scared. It's just really simple way how to align the axis. Now the axis is aligned. When the printer is powered on, the Z-axis motors are always powered, so you shouldn't be able to misalign the Z-axis. Only way how you can manage that is when the printer is powered off and you push on one of the sides. You can find out that this happens if you run the auto calibration and the nozzle is touching the bed on, for example, the right side of the bed. You see that the 3 points, the printer always gently taps the bed. So you need to do this routine, which is really simple, and you can move forward. Next, we need to check that y-axis, this one, is perpendicular to x-axis, which is this one. The easiest way to check this is to look from the top of the printer, as I do now, and align visually these rods with the lines on the heated bed. It's really simple, and you can actually be quite precise. It's always easier if you move the z-axis a bit down, not crash to the bed, but just down. Why is this important? Because we have 9 special points here, 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 and here, where the first one and the last one are labeled with white circle. And if the y-axis is not aligned to x-axis, you will not hit the last ones, and it might be misaligned. It's actually not that hard to fix it, even though if you build your printer according to instructions, you still can get it a little bit misaligned. You just rotate the printer on its side, and the adjustment is done by loosening the M10 nuts on the main threaded rods and adjusting the angle of the y-axis this way. So we checked if the y-axis is perpendicular to the x-axis, and then we also need to check that the probe hits the first point reliably. We don't have to start the print for this. It's actually quite simple. Just go to the settings, and go to the auto home, which homes x-axis, y-axis, and then homes the z-axis on the first point only. And you can see that this one is aligned all right. If the point is misaligned in the y-axis, that means that the calibration probe is in front of the point or in the back of the point. You need to adjust the y-axis inside the frame, which basically means moving the frame again by loosening the M10 nuts on the underside of the printer and gently moving it until you get this right. Then don't forget to check that the probe match both the first and the last point. So next thing to do is to check if whole pattern of the calibration points is aligned. We do this when the printer is cold, because if it's misaligned, there's no need to heat it up. We can recognize it easily. So just go to the settings and hit Calibrate Z, which will run the calibration routine. So you can do it now. So this one ran perfectly, and we could visually check that the probe was on top of all the points. If you have trouble aligning the calibration points with the probe or the angle of the X and Y axis, you can use a new feature from 3.05 firmware. You can find it under Settings, and it's called Calibrate X and Y. The printer will automatically find all the points and do all the adjustments. Let's try to run it. Okay, first thing you have to do is to get the Z-axis to be leveled. So you just rotate the knob until the axis hits the top. Okay, now we know that the Z-axis is aligned, and I just press the button and agree, and the printer will do the magic. First it will probe these 4 points, and then it will do a second round where it will find all 9 points. These points will get stored in memory for later calibration, and also the printer will use them to calculate the angle and compensate, so your printed parts will have even better accuracy. You can always download the latest firmware on our website. Okay, the firmware just finished finding the points, and it will finish with the normal Z calibration to check everything. So watch it carefully if it hits the points. Okay, so the X and Y calibration is okay. X and Y axes are perpendicular. So everything is fine. In case something is wrong, the printer will tell you what to do. And now you can continue printing. So next step is actually to load the filament. On this one we had it preloaded, but I will show you how to do unload and load filament routine. So first what we need to do is to preheat the printer. I suggest for your first prints to use PLA because it's just much simpler to use and to deal with. So we will go to the menu, go to preheat and go to PLA, which sets the hot end to 210 degrees Celsius and heated bed to 50 degrees Celsius. Now we will just wait until the printer reaches those temperatures, and I will get back to you so I can show you how to unload the filament. So the printer have reached the temperature, so I will just go to the menu and select Unload Filament, which releases the filament from the printer, and you can see it now. This is also a good tip when you remove the filament. So it's best to get the cutters. We've removed the filament, and you see that there is a blob at the end. And when you try to put it back into the printer, it could jam. So it's best to make a sharp tip at the end of the filament, which makes it nice and straight, and it will make it much easier to insert it back again. These tips are also in our handbook, so feel free to check it in more detail. Now, when I want to load the filament, I will take the newly cut fresh piece of filament, and I put it into the filament hole here at the top of the extruder body. Go to the menu and select Load Filament. And the printer gently starts to pull on the filament. It's nice if you leave the fingers at the filament, you can feel how it goes inside. Now you can learn from my mistakes, because I've done the load filament when the nozzle was touching the bed. Actually, what is the wisest thing is to do it when the print head is actually a bit higher. So I will raise the Z-axis from going to menu, settings, move Z, and I will go a few millimeters up. And the X-axis is unlocked, so it's best to do it here, because the filament can go outside of the bed. Here's a small blob of the PLA. It removes easily, but it's just much easier to load the filament there at the beginning. So when we finish loading the filament, we are now ready to run the calibration G-code. We have new V2 calibration G-code. If you don't have it on your SD card, you can download it from our drivers page. What I will do just now is to clean the bed, because I've touched it a lot, so it probably wouldn't stick to it. But it's just a quick process. If you keep these things around. All right. Wipe the bed. So the printer is preheated. I will show you how to do it. Go to Print from SD and select V2 calibration G-code. the printer will heat up to the temp and it will start to print a zigzag pattern on the heated bed. When it starts, we will go to the menu and select Live Adjust Z. So let's wait. Okay, we are almost there. Printer will home. We'll do the 9-point calibration process. Now it's doing the intro extrusion. And it starts to print. So it starts a bit higher. The point from this calibration is to lower the nozzle until the line sticks to the bed nicely and it's nicely squished. You can see how to do that in a manual. We have nice pictures over there, so I will go a bit lower. And we are done. When we finish the calibration, I can show you how exactly does it look. Okay, now it's done. You can see that at the start the printer laid the filament so it didn't stick onto the bed, but on the front lines when we adjusted it, it's quite hard to remove it from the bed itself. So that's a successful calibration and we can move to the first print. So let's go to the menu, print from SD, and I like to print the Prusa. So PLA Prusa, 200 microns, 20 minutes .G code. Just select that and let the printer do the magic. When you start the G code, the printer actually rechecks the temperatures, and if the temperature is set differently, it will wait until the correct temperature is achieved. So we are waiting for 1 more degree on the heated bed, and then the printer should start. Right away. So the print is starting after the calibration. First, the nozzle is extruding one line in front of the print area to stabilize the flow of the material, and then the nozzle moves into the center and starts with extruding so-called skirt, which is a line around the object, and again to stabilize the flow, and then it moves to the design itself, and you can just watch and relax until the printer finishes. If you start the print and you see during the first layer that it's not perfectly calibrated, you still have a way to fine-tune the calibration. The calibration G-code is just beginning. You can go during the first layer into the menu and select Live Adjust Z, and you see the compensation which was set by the calibration G-code, and you can edit it by rotating the knob. So you can even more lower the nozzle, which I will do now, just so we can test it out. And when you confirm it, it saves this into the memory of the printer, and it will remain set for next prints. When removing the object, wait until the printer is completely cool, and then use spatula with ideally with round corners so you don't ding the surface, and you just scrape it off. If you try to pull the object from the print surface, you might it might take a piece of the ultim with it. So this should be all the information you need to run your first print. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask us on email, live chat, or our forum. Thank you very much, and see you later.